Howdy folks, I'm Brash Branded Hairstreak, boldly brandishing botanical blades.
I'm Amber.
And here are more blades of grass for us to brandish and fight with and fence with, because that's what butterflies do when they are in a duel. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for DNA testing my son behind my husband's back and handing the results to my mother-in-law at her birthday brunch? I'm a 34-year-old female and have been married to my husband, a 36-year-old male, for 8 years. We have a 5-year-old son who my mother-in-law has never believed is actually her son's. Why? Because he has my dark curly hair and dimples, and apparently that's not in their family. She has made comments since I was pregnant. First, it was little weird jokes like, are you sure that you counted the months right? And must have been a wild summer, huh? After he was born, it got worse. She told my husband that he should get a paternity test just to be safe. Told her friends that he doesn't really look like he belongs, and once introduced him as my grandson allegedly. I begged my husband to shut it down, and he always said, you know how she is, don't give her the satisfaction. So I stopped asking and started planning. I ordered a paternity test, and I swabbed my husband, I swabbed my son, and I got the results a 99.9999% match. I didn't say a word. Then came her 60th birthday brunch at this fancy little tea room that she loves. Family, friends, and coworkers were all there. She stood up to make a toast. She actually said, I hope this year brings clarity and honesty to all of us, some more than others, directly staring at me. So I pulled out the envelope from my purse and I handed it to her, and I said, Happy birthday. I hope you get the clarity that you've been begging for. She opened it and went dead silent, then burst into tears, and then left her own brunch. Now my husband says that I ruined her birthday, and my sister-in-law says that I publicly humiliated an old woman. But I honestly feel lighter than I have in years. Am I the jerk for dropping DNA results at a birthday party, or was this long overdue? Alright folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, you have a serious husband problem, though. Like, he should have shut this down ages ago. The fact that he let his mother repeatedly call into question the paternity of your child is not okay. I also want to make a note about sister-in-law talking about how you publicly humiliated an old lady. Like, first of all, even if she was old, like, it's on her for being horrible and, like, trying to make OP look bad at every turn, but she's 60, you know? Like, it's such a bizarre thing to be like, oh, my 6-year-old mother is too fragile to deal with this problem of her own making.
So I have a couple of notes here. First off, OP didn't humiliate her.
Mm-hmm.
She handed her a envelope with some test results in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
How she interpreted those test results were everything, right? Like, she didn't have to let people know what the results were, and maybe this should have been, if she had doubts, then it should have, quelled those doubts and made her a happier person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is that OP didn't do anything to embarrass her. OP didn't stand up in the middle of the table, kicking, glasses onto the ground and was like, I have here an announcement that that clears my name or something like that, right? Like, the friends and family and everything like that were probably boggled by what OP even handed her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless, like, the mother-in-law read it out loud in front of everyone. Now, the second thing that I kind of have a problem with is that why is her husband not doing anything? And
Mm-hmm.
also, I hope that when OP took the DNA test from her husband, that he at least knew what was going on, because DNA testing somebody without their permission isn't so great. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that is an issue. But yeah, I mean, this whole marriage seems to be an issue. Like, if you can't trust your partner to stand up for you when you are being defamed, having your character defamed, that's not a good relationship.
Mm-hmm. Well, it isn't. It isn't. So, I mean, I can just imagine OP sitting over their husband with, like, a cotton swab while he's, like, snoring on the couch or something like that, and then, like, jamming it into his nose or something. I don't know. Or into his mouth.
Yeah, swabbing his
him.
snoring mouth.
Yeah, swabbing his snoring mouth. Or, like, collecting, like, a little vial of drool as it leaks out of the corner of his mouth or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how OP pulled this one off, but I do think that if you're going to DNA test somebody, that you probably should have their permission. But I'm not sure if this was, I think OP might be confusing paternity tests and DNA tests, because it sounds like this was a paternity test where they had a 99% match and not a DNA test where they actually got genetic information out of them.
Yeah.
And still, I think a paternity test is a little bit of a different thing, but it still is a good idea to get someone's consent before you make these kinds of tests. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Winterfront 1431 says, now it's time to hand your spineless husband an envelope. This one with divorce papers. And OP replies, I wish this wasn't even crossing my mind, but yeah, it hurts that he let it go on for so long. I'm trying to figure out what that means for us now. And Mindubi says, not the jerk, good for you. And OP replies, I was seriously second-guessing myself after everything blew up. So it's nice to hear someone say that. I just couldn't stay quiet anymore. And Little Panda 21 says, not the jerk, she found out. If she wants to publicly humiliate someone, then she can deal with the truth in public. Edited ad in public. And OP replies, like she kept poking and poking and poking, and then acted shocked when I finally snapped back. I didn't even come for her. I just brought the truth, and she kept asking for. All right, folks, and our next horrifying story is titled, Am I a jerk for being upset that my fiancé is eating my pregnancy foods? I'm 26-year-old female, and I'm 5 months pregnant, and I haven't really been able to eat, leading to me losing 15 pounds since I got pregnant. Because of this, and being on the lower income side of things, I am now on WIC, and have been able to get free nutritional food. However, my fiancé, a 25-year-old male, keeps eating all of my food and claiming that it's for everyone. I stopped getting any of my snacks when we go grocery shopping because the WIC food is supposed to be mine and my snacks. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. This is horrific what he's doing.
Yeah.
That food is specifically for you. Like, that is the entire purpose of WIC, is to make sure that pregnant people and children are fed.
Women, infants, children. That's what WIC stands for. Not mooching boyfriends who eat all of your food. There's a reason for this program. I couldn't even imagine for a moment depriving a pregnant woman of food, right? Let alone like a pregnant woman who is losing weight on top of that, right?
Wait, that's the thing. Like, how could you see your partner like suffering and losing weight and just be like, I'm gonna eat all the food?
Like, this guy is not ready to be a father.
He's
right?
not ready to be anything.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, he should be out working a second job so that they can have more income for her to have more food, right? Like, this just doesn't make any sense. It completely like blows my mind that he would not do more to support his partner who is, pregnant here, right?
Well, at a minimum, he's completely indifferent to her and is just benefiting himself. At worst, he is actively trying to sabotage her.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I know not everyone will be like this, but personally, I would rather starve than watch, a pregnant partner go hungry, right? Like, I just I would not be able to live with myself at that point in time, right? I would rather go hungry myself. And I just can't see how you can look at your partner and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to eat all of her food because it's shared food, right? Like, it really makes me pretty mad that he's doing this to her. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Familiar Pie 8610 says, it's not for everyone. It's for your baby and you. If you've already had a hard time eating, why would that idiot take the only thing that you can keep down? You got pregnant by a loser and you need to put your foot down. He can go get his own food and try harder to make sure that you eat. But he's taking from you instead. Sad. And Horror Lover says, this man is not ready to be a father. And Prentcells says, or a fiance. And Goldberry Tugglewood says, or an adult. And Stormy8888 says, or even a man. That's a boy with zero impulse control, zero decision-making ability, and selfish to the core. He shouldn't be a father when he's basically starving a soon-to-be mommy. And Spirited Torch 7447 says, or a human. What do you think of that long chain of things that he's not ready to be?
I mean, just the sheer selfishness of this man. Like, he certainly is not being a good partner or a good father to be.
No.
And he really, I think, needs to work on developing some empathy.
Yeah. Some major empathy here. This is just completely left me gobsmacked because this guy just is so absolutely selfish that it just blows my mind on a whole new level of all the kind of stories that we've read here. Stealing food from a pregnant woman who's carrying your child is just on the next level of selfishness. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Walking Out During a Party Because of My Boyfriend's Toast? I'm a 26-year-old female, and I've been with my boyfriend, a 30-year-old male, Jay, for 4 years. I'm currently expecting our first child. We just found out that we're having a girl, and Jay's parents invited us over to celebrate and share the news with the family. When we arrived, I was surprised to see a large crowd. I didn't know that it was going to be such a big gathering, and it made me anxious since I'm not comfortable around a lot of people. I wished that Jay had given me a heads up. Well, during dinner, I barely ate because of how overwhelmed I felt. Then Jay stood up to make a toast. He popped a bottle of sparkling juice and said, "Here's to our daughter. May she be smart, kind, and nothing like her mom." Everyone laughed. I didn't. I was stunned. He laughed like it was no big deal, but I felt humiliated. I quietly grabbed my bag and I left. Jay's mom followed me out, concerned, and I told her that I just needed to go home. Jay came outside and asked what was wrong, and I told him how I was hurt, and we argued. He said that it was just a joke and that I was overreacting. But the truth is that he made comments before saying that he hopes our daughter doesn't look like me. It's been eating at me, especially with how self-conscious I already feel during pregnancy. He said that I was embarrassing him and being disrespectful by leaving. Later, he called me saying that I need therapy and that I should control my insecurities before I pass them on to our daughter. I know that walking out wasn't ideal, but I felt so hurt and overwhelmed. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. This guy is just horrible. He is intentionally tearing you down.
Yeah.
No one makes these kind of jokes at their partner's expense. It's a horrible thing to do. And honestly, I know it's hard because, he's the father of your child, but I would reconsider this relationship because I feel like he is doing a lot of damage to your self-esteem and you don't need that.
What's up with all these people in this crowd that actually laughed at that joke?
Well, that's the thing. Like, if I was in that room, I wouldn't be laughing. I'd
be like, what in the world is wrong with you?
Yeah, and I know it's his family, but none of you could stand up for OP, not one.
No, and that kind of gives me a lot of pause about the family dynamic too. And I mean, maybe sometimes things can be a little amplified, so maybe people weren't laughing quite as much as what OP perceived, because in that moment I'm sure that it was heart-wrenching, and even hearing a few people laugh might have made it not a good situation, or it even could have been uncomfortable laughter too. I'm hoping that it was uncomfortable laughter.
Yeah, but it's still unfortunate that no one was like, "Hey dude, why do you say that?"
Yeah. And the fact that he's made similar comments before about oh, I hope our daughter doesn't look like you. I don't know. Maybe it's time to find a different partner. I mean, does he even love OP?
He doesn't, and he's intentionally. It feels like not even negging, but straight up tearing her down because her self-esteem is a threat to him.
Yeah, her self-esteem is already low, and I mean, the thing is, pregnancy can really do a number on people, physically and mentally and emotionally. And it's one of the times when people are the most vulnerable, right? And because you have so many different changes going on in you all at once, and you don't even have your same physical form that you did months ago or something like that, right? And that right there is just a lot for an individual to handle. And the fact that he's not actively trying to comfort her or assuage her fears or anything like that doesn't give me warm fuzzies about where this relationship is headed.
No, he's leaning into her insecurities and trying to exacerbate them, and then being like, "Well, it's not my fault. You're the one who's..." It's always her problem. Everything is her problem.
Yeah.
He is just a manipulative jerk.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my wife that I don't care to plan things because I know that I'm not good at them? I'm a 23-year-old male, and I've been married to my wife, a 24-year-old female, for a couple of months now, and we've been together for 7. I met my wife in high school, and we've been together since then. We've been in a pretty good relationship since then, and the issues have all been resolved pretty quickly. The issue at hand is that my wife will usually plan stuff, and I go along with it with no issues. However, every once in a while, she asks me to plan something, and it doesn't go well. I do know things that my wife likes. However, the plan always really is simple, but more importantly, unorganized. My wife doesn't like this and has expressed her frustrations about it, but I feel like I can never get it right, so essentially I stop trying and I just let her do it. Recently, my wife just graduated with her bachelor's degree, and the past month has really been hard on her. Between moving out of her college apartment and the death of someone close to her, spraining her ankle during the move, and a general feeling of what now that people feel post-graduation, she's been feeling down and has expressed wanting to do something exciting. She has asked for my opinion since we would be both doing it, and I said that I didn't really care. Then, after some back and forth, I admitted that basically, since I'm bad at planning, I just kind of want to let her do whatever she wants to do rather than attempt to learn how to plan, and that made her angry. I tried explaining it's because of the college and work. I just really never felt the need to learn how to plan stuff. But she's saying that I had the resources to plan stuff, which is true. She constantly sends me stuff of cool places to go, but she said that I don't put any effort into learning and that my statements affirm to her that she isn't worth learning stuff for. Although, even though it doesn't seem like I'm remorseful, I want to fix things. But I feel like we've been doing things the same way for so long. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think?
Yes, OP, you're the jerk. This is pretty much a textbook example of weaponized incompetence. It's understandable if you don't necessarily know how to do things, that like it can be a struggle, but you have to learn. Like part of being an adult in a relationship is learning how to do things for your partner. She shouldn't have to do all the mental load of planning every single thing you two do.
Well, and like if he's not very good at this, maybe he could have a compromise on some of these plans and say, well, can you show me how you do it so that I can figure out how to go about, figuring out what's important and whatnot on these trips. Instead of just throwing his hands up in the air and being like, I just can't do it. Or consult somebody who is good at helping make plans and get their assistance on making plans, right?
Right. Because I think the biggest issue is OP says, oh, everything's disorganized, and like I don't put any, he basically insinuates he doesn't put any effort into it. That's your big issue, my dude. You need to start setting aside some time to actually do the research and make a plan.
Well, and she's making it so easy on him too, because she's sending him the things that she wants to do. Like, how much do you need to plan here? Get a hotel, book the trip, make sure that you have plenty of road trip snacks if it's, within road trip distance. Or if you have to buy plane tickets, buy the plane tickets and make sure that you two are seated next to each other. There's a lot that goes into a trip, but it's not like so much that goes into a trip that it's like, something that you couldn't actually sit down and figure out and plan out, right?
Right. Well, and you can start with very simple day trips too. Like, don't go straight into planning a week-long vacation somewhere you're unfamiliar with. Start out planning, a small day trip to, a nearby area. Find a few activities she likes, and just do a little day trip. But make sure that the day is planned out and it's not just like, oh, we're gonna get on the road and we're gonna just drive around until we see something that looks interesting.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Centrifuge. The wheel is really on the centrifuge trip these days.
Yeah, the wheel is really, the power has gone to its head.
It's gone drunk with power. Everyone gets centrifuged.
Yeah, again, I do think OP's in the wrong here, but this isn't centrifuge level. Like, you need to tone it down a little bit, Wheel.
Well, maybe it is centrifuge territory. Let me know if you think this guy deserves a centrifuge. And he is being maliciously incompetent.
Yeah, for a very long time.
It's always been this way. I don't know how to do anything.
I don't want to put any effort into doing something that will make my partner happy.
All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she allegedly has a joke.
What did the happy driver say about road trips?
Oh, I mean, this is a good joke. It's a nice segue. So I would think that the happy driver, what they would say about road trips would be that they are excellent segues into jokes about road trips. And so it makes it meta joking. It's kind of like what's brown and sticky, a stick. So it's self-referential. It's kind of, the serpent eating its own tail.
I could go for smiles and smiles.
I suppose it could.
And it's National Smile Day.
Oh, excellent. So make sure to smile, but not in the way the Joker smiles with the painted on face and the creepy makeup and stuff like that. Not so good. Not Joker smiles. Sincere smiles.
If you feel like it.
And the special guest tea. Matcha. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy spectacular Saturday, folks. I hope your Saturday is more spectacular than the poor people's stories that we've read. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on being not the worst partners in the world.
Don't eat all your pregnant partner's food.
Yes, please, please, please do not eat your pregnant partner's food. I don't know I didn't think that ever would have to be stated. I did not think that for one moment in my life I would have to tell someone not to eat their pregnant partner's food, but here we are. Please don't. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Can't tell what makes Brian mad. Howdy, folks. I'm Brash Banded Hairstreak. Boldlessly is the new word of the week.